So for number 10, according to a survey in November 2022, 65% of people carry a credit card balance that will accumulate interest over time. I am not one of the 65%. Okay. And remember, if you have a credit card, you pay it off every single month. All right. Because the interest rate is extremely high. Okay. This could easily snowball to a major financial problem because the interest rate of credit cards is usually very high, and the interest is compounded daily. Okay, consider this scenario: a person carries a credit card balance of $1,500 on a credit card that charges interest on an APR annual percentage rate of 25%. That's the norm, by the way. I did not make this up. It is the norm of credit card interest rate. What will be the balance after 1 year? Just how much percentage that you're being charged in a year? That's per year, annual. Yeah. So what do? Well, this equation. Okay, so your principal is 1,500. Okay. What's your rate? 0.25. It's compounded daily. What's your N? $365. Now, if you divide the 0.25 to 300 by 365, it should be a very small percentage. But you have 365 times 1 because it's only after 1 year. So you have a huge exponent as a result. $1,500 times 1 plus 0.25 and divided by 365. Raised to the power of 365. Let's see how much you'll be paying afterwards if you just leave it here for 1 year. 1925.87. 1925.87. Okay. That's how much money that it would accumulate, or your debt would accumulate to 1925.87. Now, it may not seem like a huge number. It would be like, oh yeah, it's fine, just 1,500 becoming 1,900. Now, if you look at the percent increase, then it may give you a better idea. So, what's the percent change? All right, by the way, you are supposed to know this percent change formula for the rest of your life. If you're taking the SAT, you definitely need it. Okay, so when we say percent change, we're comparing to the original. So that's why it is the new minus the original over the original times 100%. Okay, so the new is this. The old is this. Divide by the old. So multiply by 100%. That's how you have a percent sign right here at the end. And by the way, there's a mainstream misconception. A lot of teachers, they would just say, oh, let's go ahead and multiply by 100 without the percentage sign. But then somehow magically at the end, the percent sign would just pop up at the end. That's just idiotic. 1925.87 minus, I forgot to put parentheses. So parentheses 1980s, hold on, 1925.87, yes. 1925.87 minus 1,500 divided by 1,500, all right, times 100%. So with times 100, because you need the number, percent sign can stay, so 28.39. So 28.39 is your change. So when we have a APR, the annual percentage rate for 25%, I want you to see that it is not really just 25%. It's more than 25% in a year due to compound interest. And credit card is compounding it daily. So if you don't take care of your credit card and you keep using it and you accumulate debts, and then you will keep paying extra. And so many people in the country, because they would say, "Oh, I don't like math." Well, I feel bad for them because they probably had a bad math teacher. I believe that if you have a good teacher of any subjects, you would love that subject a lot easier and better, more likely to do that. But because they are not good in math, they mismanage their finance. They don't know how to not pay 25% interest. Now, yes. Who? I have 10 credit cards. Now, since you asked this question, well, I think I have 10. I think I may have more than 10. Now, that brings us to a very interesting question. How many credit cards should you have? Now, your credit card score relates to how many accounts you have. Why? Because one way to assess your credit worthiness is by looking at how many accounts you can handle, you can manage without screwing them up. So the more accounts you have, the better it is. If you have a variety of accounts, such as you have credit cards, that's one type. If you have if you finance your car, that's great. If you finance your house, that's great. That shows proof that, hey, you can manage some kind of responsibility. Okay. Now there's a drawback of having more credit cards, is that there are too many tabs right there, and I have a job, I can get busy, and I will admit that sometimes I do miss a payment or two because I thought it was set up to auto pay, only to find out that I didn't do it. Okay. Yes.
Debit card is totally different.
Oh, debit card is so totally different. Yeah. And you would not want to use a debit card. Why not? You pull straight from the cash in your checking account, and if anyone steals your debit card information and anyone gets the money from your checking account, it's goodbye. But if somebody steals your credit card and you recognize that, you can call the bank and say, "Hey, I recognize these transactions, and I don't recognize these transactions. I did not make these transactions. Please remove them." And banks are obligated to do that for you. Okay.